Hello, my name is Charlie Slater. I own a small manufacturing company in northern Wisconsin called Harvey Allen Outdoors. We manufacture hunting blinds. When I say hunting blinds, I'm literally talking about a box that is built out of wood with a steel base, welded and all that. And we build a box on top of that. It's elevated 8, 10 feet off the ground, and hunters get in there and they hunt. Primarily, we're talking deer hunting, some bear hunting, and some turkey. Mostly, by and large, we're talking deer hunters. I started in 2011, and my marketing plan was I'm going to build a couple, stick them up by the highway. People see them and they'll come in. And they did. We sold, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 blinds first year. And hey, maybe there's a market for these. And so the next year, we started doing a little bit of trade shows, some advertising, magazines, newspapers, and really do a whole lot of. We did wind up getting awarded a space at Minnesota State Fair, which was really nice for us. It's a lot of exposure. 2 million people a year that go to that fair. So lots of exposure. And we increased our sales up to 30, 40 blinds a year. And we just stayed there. So things went and progressed, and we just stayed there and stayed there. It was always just a side business for me. So it wasn't like I was trying to swing fences here. But 2019, I decided that we were going to turn this business over to my son. And that don't need to tell you guys, COVID hit, and there was no marketing activity. There was very little things going on in 2020, and we obviously made adjustments like everybody else did, and 21 was a bust as well. So it really came down to 2022, and I'm like, okay, in 2022, if my son wants to do this and he wants to do it full time, we're going to need to be able to double, triple our sales in order for him to make a living at it. I started doing research, and I'm like, Jay, how do you market yourself these days? Because when I found this, it's real easy to build hunting blinds. It's really not easy to sell 100 hunting blinds, especially if you're in northern Wisconsin and local folks and people see it, people talk about it, and they see it at the fair. That's all great. I learned pretty quickly that it was social marketing, digital marketing, whatever you want to call it, social media, social marketing, digital marketing. I knew we needed to be online. And we had a Facebook page, and we put a couple of 2, 3 posts a year on it. Everybody else didn't know what we were doing. We'd do a post, and then we'd boost the post, and that's all fine and good, but that really produced much in sales. So I started researching because I'm a 60-year-old guy, and I'm not a techie. I'm not a Facebooker. I'm not really super into technology. It's simply because it interests me. I'm not into that. But if you're going to have a business and you're going to market yourself, in these times, you got to do it on social digital media. It's just the way you got to do it. I started investigating into that and found, like I imagine some of you probably already have, that's a $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a month conversation with companies if you want to have them do it for you. Budget like that, we got to do it ourselves. I started looking into that, and I wound up finding a company that says, hey, we can show you what you need to do. I'm like, great. It wasn't a big price tag for it. So I joined in, and they told me exactly what we needed to do and exactly what we needed to do to market ourselves digitally. They didn't tell me how. That wasn't part of their program. Their program was to tell you what you need to do without any information on how to do it. Okay, great. Now I know what to do. I haven't the slightest clue how to do it. Remember, I'm not a techie guy. I didn't know what we were doing. And so I went, this isn't going to work. So I started looking. There's got to be some companies out there that teach people how to do this. I started doing my research. And that's probably why you're watching this video, because you did some research as well. And you found Allie Bloyd. I will tell you that I wound up talking to a few different companies that kind of do it. And I really resonated with Allie Bloyd for a lot of different reasons. One of the biggest reasons was she does a one-on-one consultation where she just asks you like it is and she tells you like it is. But one of the things that really intrigued me was that she knew our space. Her husband's a hunter, and she really thought our business model and what we do was perfect for local digital marketing, because we're not looking to sell to the whole United States. We're looking to sell to a geographic area that we can service in our current form. Going back and forth and looking at Allie, I'm going, okay, it's not cheap, but it's not ridiculous either. And it's certainly something that we needed and we have to do. My son is to do this for a living. So I started getting into it and I started learning about it. And I'm telling you right now, it's extremely overwhelming, particularly for a guy like me. All of these things that you have to learn in order to make it work. It's going to take a while for you to absorb everything. and do some things and get out there and try this stuff and make it work. What we designed, I compared it to building a house. And I will tell you, it would be taking somebody that knows absolutely nothing about building a house and bring them to a lot that they can build a house on and go, here you go. Here's your lot. Go ahead and build your house. The first thing they're going to do is look at you and they're going to go, but there's a bunch of trees there. Look at it. And you're like, yeah, you're going to want to get rid of those trees and yourself. So they need to learn the tree cutting equipment and the digging equipment and et cetera, et cetera. Then they got to build a foundation of the house. That's concrete work, putting in a septic system, getting power, getting gas lines, et cetera. And you got to know how to do all that digging and learn those tools. Now you got that done. Now you got to frame the house. You need all these framing tools and framing know-how. Then you got to start doing all of the electrical and plumbing work. So those are all different tools, all different know-how, all different skill sets. Then you got to do the finishing work inside, sheetrocking, painting, putting in the fixtures, installing the cabinets, putting in the windows, et cetera. All different things that all have to happen in order to make the house livable. Digital marketing is the same way. You've got all of these programs and all of these facets to it that all have to be built and done and then connected together, just like a house, in order to make it work. I'm going to tell you, from the time I started with Allie until the time I launched my first offer, when I did it, the very first one that we did really well. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one reason was Allie really said, Trey, you need to figure out what your first offer is going to be. And we were going to give away a blind, a $2,500 blind. I'm going to give it away. People are going to sign up for that. And so they did. And she said, okay, I want you to think about leads, Charlie. What key pieces of information do you need? Obviously, Charlie, you need their name, and you need their email address, and then you need their cell phone. What else? And I said, pretty much that, and need to know how many acres they know. That's our number one qualifying question for a hunter. How many acres do you have? You've got 1 acre. Okay. If you've got 100 acres or 500 acres, you might follow the difference there. We made it so that when they enter the contest, they gave us all of that information. And I want you to know that I made this work and these results came because I did exactly what Allie taught me to do. I didn't ad lib. I didn't invent, get creative. I didn't change anything that in a program. I just did exactly what she taught me to do. And in our very first campaign, please understand, in my understanding, most folks are not going to see this kind of results in your first one. If you do, awesome. If you don't, get discouraged. Here's the result of our very first campaign. So our first campaign, we reached 44,096 folks on a Facebook ad campaign. And the ad campaign cost me a total of $897. It generated 1,262 leads. Those were folks that went into my funnel, filled out my information, and gave me how many acres they own, their email address, their cell phone number, and cost per lead was $1.41. I told you about the acres and how important it is. Out of this 1,262, 657 of those folks own 100 or more acres. Pretty good target audience that Allie helped me understand the demographics and figure that out and tell Facebook who I wanted to target. My ad was pretty targeted, deer hunters. That's the way I found them. Over a few months, 4 or 5 months, because that's our sales cycle time, from just this campaign alone, we did $30,000 in sales, give or take, somewhere in there. This is what our campaign did the first time out. I got real excited real quick and I went, hey, you know what? These things work. And what I learned from Allie was that you can control your sales when you can control your marketing and your audience and start gathering the information. I can continue to keep marketing all 1262 of these folks and just keep marketing. And there's a lot of repeat. Out of the 600 and the 100 acre category, there's 283 that have 300 to 1,000 acres, and there's 23 that have 1,000 or more acres. So it's that kind of data that helps this thing work. To summarize this thing up, it was taking this massive thing called digital marketing and getting a coach, a good coach, a caring coach that walked me through all the processes and taught me, and we were able to really make this thing work. By controlling our marketing and our sales, we can increase our sales as we do more marketing, we can maintain our sales as we do marketing, or we can back off. And what was great was as I turned this over to my son, that we build up to 100 to 150 to 200 blinds. In 2022, he figured out exactly how many blinds can you build. And that's what we're going to sell. And we controlled our marketing, and we went with our programs and how we emailed and how we Facebook ad out there. And we did exactly the amount of blinds that he could build. Now, one more blind could he have produced and sold last year was right down the middle, bulls. Couldn't have been better. Now, this year, he's got that all figured out and has increased his capacity by 100%, which means we could double the sales next year in 2024 if that's what we wanted to do. So we're right now in the middle of getting our targets and figuring that out and creating our advertising campaigns and our offers, and be able to work it through and create the sales funnels, do the stuff we need to do, bring them to a reality. So if you're wondering if you should be hiring Allie, don't wonder, do it. If you're wondering if you can do it, if I can do it, you could certainly do it, particularly if you have some technical skills and I nothing. So the best thing I can tell you is I can't thank Allie and her team enough from the bottom of my heart for the success and the control she gave us in being able to control our marketing and be able to control our sales and our outcome. I can now confidently turn this business over to my son and let him start to slowly take on the marketing